And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm blown up over here. My name is Chad White. I'm your host. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. If you would forgive me, audio listener, I'm trying to adjust the camera, one of the cameras over here. Hopefully it works. We're back on the futon, sitting here, sitting on the edge of the futon. There's a metal rod going between my crack. It was worth it. It was worth it. I enjoyed that. Here we are on a June 11th, Thursday. This is episode 158? 159? One of these, I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention. Let me give you a good weather report. It's hot outside. It's hot. You may be saying, Chad, you're wearing long chino pants. Long. That's what pants are. They're long shorts. Pants are long shorts. Yeah, I'm wearing pants and a button-up shirt because I just came back from work. I just walked in the door. All right, I still go to the office. That's it. That's all I wanted to get off my chest was that. So office. What happened in my past week? Well, still dealing with the protests, still dealing with all that other stuff. Still dealing with depression. It's not a joke. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, last Friday, I had this plan to buy Pokemon Sword on my Nintendo Switch digitally. I said, you know what? I want to own it physically because that's what I do with my Pokemon games. I like to own them and look at the cases sometimes. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy this game. I'm going to buy it digitally. Who cares? I'm going to drop the $60 on it because those games never go on sale. So I'm sitting down. This is Friday night at like maybe 9 p.m. And I've already been up all day. I'm about to go to bed. So I'm going to buy this game. I'll play it tomorrow morning. I'm looking through my wish list. Has like maybe 10, 15 Switch games on it. I look at a Pokemon and I'm scrolling through it, reading the information again because it takes me forever to make a purchase. And then in between me looking at this, and I truly mean it's like 30 seconds, looking at the Pokemon game on my Switch, and then me going to get my wallet where my credit cards live. Somehow, I blacked out for 30 seconds and switched over to Dragon Age 11. I believe that's what it's called. Dragon Age 11. Not Dragon Age. Excuse me. What's it called? What's the game? Oh shoot, I don't even know what game I have anymore. Dragon Age? It's not Dragon Age. It's Dragon Quest. Excuse me, Dragon Quest 11. The special, the one that came out on Switch. Dragon Quest 11: Echoes of Elusive Age that came out last year. And I go, and this is also on my wish list, so I'm not out of bounds or anything. And I accidentally purchased that game, accidentally. Guess who doesn't take refunds? Nintendo. And so now I own Dragon Quest 11. I can't even get it right. Dragon Quest 11S, Echoes of Elusive Age. Echoes of an Elusive Age. Now, here's the thing. I did want this game. I didn't want to spend $60 on it. Also, there's a demo that's like 11 hours long, and I still had that downloaded to my Switch. I did not want to buy this game. I wanted to stress that. And then the next day, I bought Pokemon. So, there we go. I dropped $120 on 2 games. One of them I wanted. Also, I bought Persona 5 Royal. I've been on a game buying spree. I needed to treat myself. I've been very down in the dumps, and I need something to distract me. That being said, I do have Xbox Game Pass. I don't know why I bought games. I should not have. I should not have done that. Anywhoosers, so now I have 3 RPGs that probably total like close to 250, 300 hours if I complete everything, which I won't. It took me a year to beat Red Dead 2. It's going to take me forever to beat these games, and I put in 94 hours in Red Dead 2, and that's just the main story. I'm doing the main story and the side quests. I played every single mission in Red Dead, including the strangers, with the exception of the KKK mission. I've yet to find that. I'll stop talking about this. Let's get right into it. The Flash is going to have a big change next season. So we knew that, what is her name? Ruby Rose left Batwoman. We know that there's gonna be a different Batwoman. Kate Kane is not gone she's not dead as they typically would do, but she's just gone from the show, and there's gonna be a different person. And there may be another story to that, but who knows? We'll never hear. Maybe, who knows? But now, hold on, I'm gonna keep going. Legends of Tomorrow. Let's see who left. The woman who plays the shapeshifter. She left the show, but we still got Constantine. As long as he stays on, I will continue watching. Let's see what else. Arrow is dead. If you didn't watch Arrow, you're not missing much. She's dead. And Black Lightning still has all the actors, because it's very rare that there are black people in any of these shows. So, here we are. The Flash. Coming at you in January 2021. Without Elongated Man. Yes, Hartley Sawyer fired from The Flash after racist, misogynist tweets surfaced. This comes from an exclusive from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Rick Porter and Leslie Goldberg. Two of the people I know. I don't know them. So there have been some bad tweets that he tweeted. Not and Twitter is fairly young in terms of internet. It's like it started in like 2008, 2007, 2008, maybe even 2006. So it's still within like a 15-year gap of being a baby. It's a teenager. Hartley Sawyer in 2012 was tweeting some ghastly things. One of which I don't think is as bad as the others, but it's all bad. In 2014, he wrote, "Enjoyed a secret boob viewing at an audition today." There's a lot of tweets about assaulting women, and there are. I have read through most of them, and oh boy, I was going to read one out loud, but this is a clean show, and I don't want to. Anyway, he issued an apology on Instagram, and it's an apology that you will see, that one will see on these. I am deeply regretful and sorry and the things. This comes at a time he's been on the show for maybe like 3 years or something like that. He started in 2017 as Ralph Dibny before he became Elongated Man, and now he's Elongated Man. He's part of the team, and now he's off the team. And they were just introducing Sue Dibny, who's going to be his wife. And in the Identity Crisis comic, she was ironically assaulted, and it changed everything. It just changed everything in DC Comics. So that would have been interesting to see Identity Crisis done. I don't think they would have, made her get assaulted by Dr. Light, or Night. Who? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this comes a week after Dick Wolf fired Craig Gore, who was a writer on the new Law & Order SVU spinoff that's starring Christopher Maloney as Stabler, reprising his role. He sent out a picture. He didn't send out a picture. He put up a picture on Facebook of himself holding a gun while all the protests were going on and people were, starting to loot in LA. And he said he's going to, quote unquote, light up looters if they came near his property. And that's bad. So especially, at a time, so Hartley was fired last week. So this is like, the other guy was fired. Craig Gore was fired slightly before Blackout Tuesday, which was the movement for Black Lives Matter on Instagram. Andy Hoosers, listen. There's a podcast called Still Processing on New York Times that I do not listen to anymore because it's not good. But they took too long of breaks, and then also it just became ungood. But there was one episode. There's a pack of 2 episodes that came out, 2-parter episode, where the hosts who are black and queer stepped aside and let Asian people in the media talk about what it's like being Asian in the media. And one guy, and I've mentioned this before, I believe in the second part said, we have to pick and choose. He said, and he didn't say it in so many words, but we have to pick and choose what we freak out at. Like before, let's take this back to 2 years ago when this episode came out. But before, it was during a time where, if you say Latino now, people will be like Latinx, which, come on. But you have to pick and choose is essentially what he was saying. And now you shouldn't say anything that hurts people. I'm not saying that Latinx hurt people. But there's a point now, especially during a time when we're doing protests, when people should septuple check that they're definitely not saying anything that is going to be taken as majorly offensive, and saying that you're going to shoot some looters, very bad, very, very bad. Working on a cop show, saying you're going to shoot some looters, very, very bad. So, also, if you tweeted that stuff, come on, that wasn't even funny in 2000. All right, let's move on. Speaking of things being fired, Adam Rappaport of the Bon Appetit, editor-in-chief at Bon Appetit, had to step down from his duties. Why is there a mobile version of this? Why, you may ask. You probably heard of this story. This comes from Variety, written by Todd Spangler. He was in brownface. Again, this wasn't Peter Sellers' brownface when it was. I'm not gonna say acceptable without quotes. When it's acceptable, he was in brownface in 2012, I believe, something like that. 2013. Yikes. Yikes. And I'll put up the picture right here. I could just as easily add it in post, but I don't want to. Very clearly in brownface, and not good. This comes after there was an editor for an assistant editor, I guess, Sola El Wali, one of the chefs of the Master Kitchen. What? of the test kitchen at Bon Appetit. She then came out. She saw this. It was pointed out to her. Then she came out and just went on this whole blast about how Bon Appetit doesn't hire people of color. The people of color don't get paid for their YouTube work. Bon Appetit is the magazine for Conde Nast that talks about recipes and food. But they do have a very popular YouTube channel that I would probably say surpasses the money made by the magazine itself. And they have these hosts. People love them. People probably spend too much time obsessing over them. But now it's kind of paying off that they obsess over them, because all of the chefs are saying they support their coworkers, and the chefs are mostly white. I would say maybe 98% white. There's maybe two of them are Indian. One used to be black, but she stopped appearing because she was not getting paid. It was reported that the white chefs were paid for their appearances on the YouTube channel, whereas the brown chefs were not. One of them was Hawa, I believe, and she is from Africa. Let's see. Hawa is from. Nope, I just looked up the wrong person. Let's see. Hawa is from Hawa Hassan. I was right. She's Somalian. And she made only 3 appearances on Bon Appetit, and she was only paid $400 for her videos. And then Sola she made it known that she's been working for 15 years as a chef. So that means she has experience, and she's only been paid $50,000 for her work at a publication that is Conde Nast, mostly for rich people. Architect Digest, the rest of the stuff. Anyway, it's a very interesting thing that happened. I think you should read up on it, because it was a saga. I think last Tuesday or something like that. This all came about, and then it just went downhill after that. Everybody said they weren't going to cook. and do anything for the company and all that stuff. Listen, we'll take a break and we'll hop back right into this. We're going to get back. Okay. And we're back. All right. So, where were we talking about? Sorry, I had to take a break. I knew the camera was going to shut off at some point. And when this is an audio show and a video show, when it's an audio-visual show, audio-visio show, this episode is brought to you by Vizio, the television. So, where were we? So, all the chefs said they weren't going to cook. Then Adam steps down. Then we find out that the VP of video, who was in charge of all of the YouTube stuff, which includes Bon Appetit, his name is Matt Ducker, Duckor, is gone after pay inequality allegations, which is what Sola brought up, racist and homophobic tweets. And I read his stuff earlier today, and yikes, what do white people think they can get away with? Jeez. And he was, here we go. Here's one of his tweets. This guy, who's the VP of video for Conde Nast, he said, at Sam Sifton, are you in Harlem with the black people and Asian same-sex couples? Which is an observation, but it is a bad one nonetheless. He has stepped down. Adam Rappaport stepped down. And what I would like to see happen is I don't want them. So what happened was Conde Nast, after Solo blew this up, Conde Nast offered her $20,000 more a raise, which she saw as insulting, which everyone says she is insulting. You should be paid what you're worth, what you earn, and not based on someone guilting you. Also, there's one point earlier this year at the 92nd and Y, Bon Appetit was featured during a discussion, and Adam Rappaport got Sola and another Indian chef that works for Bon Appetit, Indian American chef that got them mixed up. And it was not good. Again, this guy watch the video. It's a great discussion, save for Adam stuff. But this guy turns and looks at Priya, and he goes, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, Sola. And she's looking at him, and everybody's just holding their breath. Anyway. What I was getting at earlier, what I would like to see them not do is hire someone of color, a woman of color, in Adam's spot and in Ducker's spot, because they feel like they have to. I feel like they should just hire or promote from within, actually, somebody who can do the job. I feel like their reaction to this, the gut reaction to this is, okay, let's hire an Asian American woman. And when I say Asian American, I mean Indian as well. So let's just say Indian. let's hire an Indian woman to be the editor in chief. No, just put out your feelers. Start hiring people of color. Don't just hire. See, that now makes it sound like I'm doing it like okay, so there's a good way to do it and there's a bad way to do it. Go hire people of color. Don't do it just to fill that void. Be thoughtful about it. I mentioned this before, but Sam B for Full Frontal, when people sent in their writing packets, they didn't send in their names. They didn't send in the previous jobs. Nothing that can say I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm trans, I'm any of this. They hired people based on their work, and they happen to hire a lot of women there. So do that. Not every job has that luxury, but just do something like that. Okay, so continuing on with Adam Rappaport, I forgot about this article from the New York Times, written by Kim Severson. Amanda Shapiro is the interim editor. This is brand new. This is an update. Amanda Shapiro is what I don't see. Oh, she's 33 years old. Good for her being the interim editor. Okay. I'm very proud of you, girl. That's only a couple years older than me. Look at you. I don't see a picture of her. So maybe if I just type in her name, it is hot in here. It is very hot. The air is set at 77. Her picture's not up here. Oh, she has a website. Here we go. Yeah, she's a woman. Of course, obviously, Chad, you moron. All right. Okay, good for her. I don't know. Amanda could be a guy's name. So, that woman in Adam Rappaport's photo was his wife. Yikes. Please. Okay, so anyway, there was a point in this that I wanted to point out later on in the article. I just have to find it. And I don't think Bon Appetit has uploaded anything in the past week. They were on a roll. In fact, the day that it happened, I watched one of their videos, and I don't watch a lot of stuff on from Bon Appetit anymore. Mostly for because I just don't have the capacity to do it. But they haven't uploaded something in a week. It happened, I believe, last Friday, so they haven't, or last Sunday. Oh no! You know what? It happened. I found out about this on Monday because I don't check the internet often, and a friend and I were texting about it. Yeah, this happened. So we haven't uploaded anything in a week. Everybody went on a strike. So there we go. And they're also using this thing called BIPOC, and I believe it means Black, Indigenous people, Black, Indigenous, people of color. I never knew that was a thing. I just say people of color because that includes everything. There's also Jiminy Christmas. This is not the first time that editors in this pandemic, particularly, have had to step down or set aside, had to step aside or had to be reined in. Last week, employees of the New York Times widely criticized a decision by editors of the newspaper's op-ed page to publish an essay by Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas that called for a military response to quell civil unrest in American cities. A lot of the employees for New York Times, especially the black ones, were not happy. And then on Sunday, James Bennett, who was the editor of the editorial editor of the op-ed page, stepped down. He also had a bunch of issues before in the past, and a lot of other New York Times personalities. Barry Weiss has had some issues in the past. Allison Roman, whom you may know, in recent weeks, has gotten in trouble for things that she said, and then also including about Chrissy Teigen and Marie Kondo, and then also including on Monday an image of Ms. Roman from 2008 appeared on Twitter, and some people said it was her as a parody of a woman from Mexican American subculture known as a cholo. She has staunchly denied that it was not a cholo. It was Amy Winehouse. It could go either way. I'm not here to judge on that because truly, I think people already kind of don't like her from previous things. So I don't think that's in my wheel bag. She did kind of look like, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, like anybody listening to this show. All right, let's see. There was also for Bon Appetit, Adam Rappaport, and this is why people were fine with him stepping down. But beyond the solo thing, earlier it was reported that he basically whitened up Bon Appetit. Conde Nast has had this culture of being a very white thing. Like they don't hire a lot of brown people, and Rappaport was not doing any. He said he wanted to focus on diversity, but there was never really any diversity going on. There was one food editor who wanted to do some more, I believe, either Latino or some Asian heritage based foods, and Rappaport was basically saying it's not white, people won't like it. But then they publish somebody's skin routine in the magazine. So yes, Alex Lau, an Asian American journalist who photographed many of the Fat magazine's top restaurant features, recently resigned in part because of such issues. He said on Twitter that that the white leadership refused to make changes that his BIPOC coworkers, which I've never heard BIPOC before Monday, never heard of it. So there you go. Priya Krishna was the woman that he mistaked for Stola. So just a lot of bad stuff. And also continuing on from that, Refinery 29, the editor over there had to step down as well, because of some also not good culture over there. Christine Barberich, said she had decided to leave after reading accounts by black women and other women of color who said they had faced discrimination at the company. This also comes from the New York Times, written by Katie Robertson. The writer, Ashley C. Ford, was one of the former employees who described her experience on Twitter. This is like the one time it's been really good. Otherwise, it's crap. She says, quote, I worked at Refinery 29 for less than 9 months due to a toxic company culture where white women's egos ruled the nearest non-existent editorial processes. She wrote, one of the founders consistently confused myself and one of our full-time front desk associates, and pay disparity was atrocious, which I definitely believe. Very lucky to work at a company that hires that. Since we're in Atlanta, there's a mix of everybody, and you can definitely see this in any industry. It just doesn't have to be the publications or the news or the journalism or media industry. It doesn't have to be that. You can definitely see that everywhere. Note that Vice Media bought Refinery 29 in October for $400 million. $400 million. Nancy Dubik, and also Disney has a little bit of money in Vice, but they did devalue them. Nancy Dubik said in an email to the staffs of Vice and Refinery 29 that the company would overhaul its hiring and retention practices to, quote, ensure equal opportunity and an inclusive culture. But it sucks that it took a pandemic. It took multiple, like, let's say in the past 7 years. It took 7 years of police killing black people in order for something like this to happen, for there to be some type of change at the companies. I texted this to a friend who's been going to all the protests in Atlanta for the past couple of weeks. I texted this to him earlier that it's funny, like how for a lot of these quite frankly white people. Mostly white women, but these white people, and I love dating white women. My favorite woman to date. I'll stop saying that. But mostly these white people who will put on Instagram hashtag Black Lives Matter, or they'll support Blackout Tuesday. But if you look through their posts, there's no brown people in their photos, like at all. Like it can be them at the lake with their friends, or them at the bar with their friends. But it won't. But none of their friends will be brown, and that's a big issue. You're part of the problem. You're not down with the culture, which is also how I pick up women. I'm like, are you down? You're down with the culture? Get up. Come on, get down with the culture. Come on. We're having fun. I'm going manic over here. So it takes, at this point, you can fire everybody. You can make these moves and do all this stuff. But really, it's the actions that come after the fact. There's a lot of companies like Nike, like Ben and Jerry's, who will support the movements, but then they will donate the money. J.J. Abrams, I believe, donated $100 million. Disney, I believe, donated $100 million. I think J.J. Abrams did something along those lines. And his company, Bad Robot. Netflix has donated money. Like, I just say the words, but then also do the actions to it. And it doesn't even have to be public, which I think I was talking about this last week. Famous people don't have to say anything. They can just do it. The Weeknd donated, I think, something like $200 million. No, that must be wrong. That's got to be wrong. Donate. The Weeknd donated $200,000. This is from a Variety on Monday. No, excuse me, $500,000 to organizations that support Black Lives Matter. So did Drake. Drake did the same thing. Wow, holy crap! That's a lot of money. Jeez. So, I mean, it's like you can make I believe John Cena donated $1 million to something for Black Lives Matter. So this goes beyond, the media, and it goes beyond the workplace. You gotta be able to act. So yeah, and I know this is a comedy show about entertainment and business, but yes, it is an entertainment and business podcast. Now, finally, before the camera shuts off on me, I want to talk about the debate over objectivity in journalism. This is an episode of the 1A podcast, as hosted by WAMU and Sasha Simmons. I believe that is her name. Sasha Ann Simmons. Please be right. Because if I'm not, I will. Yep. Sasha Ann Simmons. I was right. No. Am I wrong? Yeah, I'm right. Nope, I'm wrong. Anyway. And it kind of goes along these lines of is it the job of journalists to remain objective, by that I mean to not have an opinion on the news, or can you put in emotion in the news and still report the facts? If we look at Fox News, it seems like you can't. But there was, especially at this time, I think objectivity is kind of thrown out the window. I think you can be able, like a lot of people were commenting, and it's a call-in show, so a lot of people were commenting and saying that it is impossible and they need to just deliver the facts. But it's barring any op-eds, Tom Cotton's send in the troops. I think it's highly possible. I'm not gonna say I think, because whatever. It is highly possible that a reporter or a journalist can be able to report without having with biases. Well, I wouldn't even call it bias. I would just say that they know the truth. Like if something is bad, something like sending in the troops to protect police from protesters, that's bad. When a couple weeks ago, when the protests started in Atlanta, and I was watching the local news, which I never do because local news is trash. Don't watch that garbage. But I hate local news, mostly because never mind. Anyways, but one reporter for CBS 46 and here in Atlanta, she started crying because she wasn't appreciative of what was happening. People getting hurt, cops attacking the protesters, people destroying downtown, an area of town that's not touched by anybody. Like if you live downtown, what are you doing? You're going to the Chick-fil-A? There's no good places downtown. The Waffle House, the Ferris wheel for $20. So it's highly possible to remain objective. She was reporting the news and she was crying like that, but she was still reporting the news. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm getting at. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see interviews with your favorite comedians. If you want to see a video version of the show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. See me in all my glory, sitting in a pink shirt and my green chinos. Also on youtube.com/cpluscomedy is a show called News Time. It's like the Daily Show, except where that's fun. It's like Full Frontal. The last 7 minutes of Full Frontal. It's I take a story and I dive right into it for as long as I can. This week's episode is about New York Times and Tom Cotton, and I go a little bit more in depth into that. In the cold open is a kind of like a Dear John letter or a love letter, I guess. I don't know. Dear John's opposite of love letter, but it's a letter where I write to New York Times. It's very funny. I thought it was a very funny thing, and I shoot my shot with Taylor Lorenz, who is an internet culture reporter at the New York Times, which is a real position. Taylor Lorenz, I've been following her career for about 2 years now. She's a very attractive person. I just wanted to hit that. I wanted to shoot my shot. I just wanted to hit that. All right, I gotta go. Bye. I'm gonna hang up now.